I believed my wife's excuses for staying out late, but when my brother's phone lit beside her, I finally understood. My name is Marcus. I'm 34, was married for 6 years to the love of my Sarah. We have 2 kids, Emma 5 and Jake 3. Had a good, comfortable house in the suburbs. Date nights every other Friday. Family game nights on Sundays. The kind of marriage people said they were jealous of. Past tense. All of it. It started 3 months ago. Sarah began staying late at work. New project, she said. Big client, lots of overtime. I believed her because why wouldn't I? We trusted each other. That's what marriage is supposed to be built on, right? She'd come home at 9, sometimes 10 at night. Exhausted. Distant. I'd have the kids fed and in bed already. I'd heat her dinner. Ask about her day. She'd give me one-word answers and disappear into the shower for 30 minutes. I told it was stress. Work pressure. I tried to be supportive. I picked more slack with the kids. Did extra housework. Told her I was proud of how hard she was working. My brother Ryan moved in with us 2 months ago. Rough divorce. Needed a place to crash while he got back on his feet. Sarah said it was fine. More than fine actually. She insisted. Said family helps family. I should have seen it then. The way she lit when I suggested it. The way she suddenly started dressing nicer around the house. Started wearing perfume on weekends. But I didn't see it. I was blind. Willfully, stupidly blind. Last Tuesday night changed everything. Sarah was home for once. We were all watching a movie. The 4 of us on the couch. Ryan was in his room. Normal evening. Peaceful. Sarah's phone buzzed. She glanced at it, then quickly flipped it face down. Nervous gesture. Quick. But I caught it. 10 minutes later, she excused herself to the bathroom. Left her phone on the couch. It buzzed again. I don't know what possessed me to look. Maybe some subconscious part of me already knew. Maybe I'd been ignoring the signs for so long that my gut finally overrode my denial. I picked her phone. The notification on the lock screen was from work. Jennifer. But the preview text didn't match a coworker. It said, "Can't wait to have all to tomorrow night." My hand started shaking. My heart felt like it was trying to punch through my ribcage. I knew Sarah's passcode. She knew mine. Total transparency, we'd always said. Nothing to hide. I unlocked the phone. The contact name was. I knew that immediately. I opened the message thread. Hundreds of messages. Photos. Things I can't unsay I saw. Things I can't unsee. But it was the name at the top that made my world collapse. The contact info, buried in the details. The real number beneath the name. Ryan's number. My brother. My little brother who I'd protected growing. Who I'd let move into my house. Who I'd trusted with my family. The messages went back 2 months. Right when he moved in. Comments about sneaking around. About how exciting the risk was. About the late nights at work. When they'd actually been at a hotel 30 minutes away. There were messages about me. About how I was clueless and boring. About how Ryan always knew he could make her happier. About how she was planning to wait until after the holidays to tell me she wanted a divorce. They were laughing at me. In my own house. While I tucked my kids into bed and washed her dishes and told her I was proud of her. I sat there staring at that phone for what felt like hours but felt like 3 minutes. The movie played in the background. Emma leaned against my arm, half asleep. Jake was already out, his little head on my lap. Sarah came back from the bathroom. Reached for her phone. I handed it to her. Unlocked. Opened to the messages. Our eyes met. I've never seen someone's face change like that. Shock. Panic. Then something worse. Calculation. I could see her brain spinning, trying to figure out what to say. What excuse could possibly work? Marcus. Don't. One word. That's all I could manage. My voice sounded like it belonged to someone else. Someone hollow. Emma stirred against my arm. Daddy? I gently moved Jake off my lap, stood, picked Emma. Come on, sweetheart. Let's get to bed. But the movie's not over. I know, baby. It's past bedtime anyway. I carried her upstairs. Tucked her in. Her forehead. She smiled at me, trusting and innocent, and completely unaware that her entire world was about to shatter. When I came back downstairs, Sarah was crying. Makeup running down her face. Hands shaking. Ryan was standing in the living room doorway. He must have heard the commotion. The look on his face told me everything. Guilt. Fear. But also something else. Defiance, maybe. Like some part of him had wanted to be caught. Marcus, man, I didn't let him finish. I walked to the front door and opened it. Get out. We should talk about. Jeet. I didn't yell. Couldn't yell. The kids were asleep upstairs. But something in my voice must have been terrifying because Ryan grabbed his keys and left without another word. Then it was just me and Sarah. She tried to explain. Said it meant nothing. Said it was a mistake. Said she loved me. Said she'd end it. I listened to all of it. Stood there like a statue, while the woman I'd built with tried to convince me that sleeping with my brother for 2 months was somehow forgivable. When she finally ran out of words, I asked her one question. Did do it in our bed? The way her face crumpled gave me the answer. I slept in the guest room that night. Didn't sleep, really. Just lay there staring at the ceiling, replaying every moment of the last 2 months. Every late night. Every distant conversation. Every time I'd her goodnight after she came home from being with him. I felt sick. Physically ill. Got 3 times to throw. Nothing came but bile and rage. The next morning, I told Emma and Jake that Mommy and Daddy needed to have some grown time apart. That it wasn't their fault. That we both loved them very much. Emma cried. Asked if we were getting divorced like her friend Madison's parents. I couldn't lie to her. Maybe. Sweetheart. I don't know yet. Jake didn't really understand. He just hugged my leg and asked if he could have pancakes. I made pancakes. Went through the motions. Poured syrup. The food into small pieces. Smiled when Jake got whipped cream on his nose. Inside, I was screaming. Sarah moved out 3 days later. Went to stay with her sister. Ryan's not answering my calls. Blocked me on everything. My parents found out yesterday. My mom cried on the phone. My dad just kept saying, that boy, over and over. He meant Ryan. His youngest son, the one who betrayed his oldest. The worst part isn't the betrayal itself. It's the time. 2 months of lying. 2 months of looking me in the eye. 2 months of looking me parent alone, while she was destroying our family. It's knowing that while I was reading bedtime stories, she was texting him. While I was worried about her stress levels, she was planning her next escape. While I was falling asleep missing her on my side of the bed, she was in a hotel room with my brother. Friends keep asking if I'm okay. If I need anything. I don't know how to answer that. What do say when wife and brother entire? When kids ask why Mommy doesn't live here anymore. When have to explain to daughter's kindergarten teacher that yes, we're going through a separation. And yes, it might affect her behavior. I'm not okay. I'll never be okay again. And the worst part. Some nights, when the house is quiet, and the kids are asleep, and I'm alone with my thoughts, I wonder what I did wrong. What I could have done differently. If I'd been a better husband, a more exciting partner. Would this have happened? Then I remember. This wasn't about me being lacking. This was about them being broken. But that doesn't make it less. Tomorrow I'm meeting with a divorce attorney. This weekend, I have to figure out how to explain custody arrangements to a 5-year-old. Next month, there's a family wedding. My cousins. Both Ryan and I are in it. I don't know how that's gonna work. I don't know if I can be in the same room as him without doing something I'll regret. I don't know anything anymore except that the I had is gone. The marriage I thought was solid was a lie. The brother I trusted is a stranger. And my kids, my beautiful innocent kids, are going to grow in a broken home, because 2 people couldn't keep their hands off each other. I want to be angry. I am angry, but under the anger is something worse. Grief, loss. Of the future I'd planned. We were supposed to grow old together. Watch our kids graduate, become grandparents, travel the world when we retired. Now I'll be lucky if I'd be civil to her during custody exchanges. This is my now. Single dad. Family. Brother who doesn't exist to me anymore. Trust issues that will probably sabotage any future relationship I might try to have. All because I believed her when she said she was working late. The lawyer's office smelled like leather and old coffee. Professional. Cold. The kind of place where marriages go to on paper. Her name was Patricia Chen. Mid-40s, kind eyes, wedding ring on her finger. She'd seen this 1,000 times before. I could tell by the way she handed me the tissue box before I even started crying. Take time, Marcus. I told her everything. The phone. The messages. My brother. She took notes without judgment, nodding occasionally. When I finished, she looked from her legal pad. I'm going to be direct with. This is going to get. How much uglier can it get? She gave me a sad smile. Be surprised. She was right. Sarah filed her own petition 2 days after I met with Patricia. Claimed we'd been having problems for over a year. Said I was emotionally distant. That I prioritized work over family. That she'd felt lonely and neglected. The rewriting of history was breathtaking. Suddenly, I was the villain. The absent husband who drove her into someone else's arms. Never mind that I'd been the one doing bath time, and making lunches, and staying home with sick kids. Her lawyer was aggressive. Started talking about primary custody, because I traveled occasionally for work. Never mind that those trips were maybe once every 2 months and Sarah had always said it was fine. My parents offered to testify about my character. My dad especially wanted to tell the court what kind of man Ryan was. Patricia advised against it. Family drama helps no one. Keep it clean. Focus on the kids. The kids. God, the kids. Emma started having nightmares. She'd wake crying, calling for both of us. I'd go to her room, hold her, tell her everything was okay. But she'd ask where mommy was, why mommy couldn't come tuck her in too. How to explain betrayal to a 5-year-old. How to tell her that mommy made choices that but mommy still loves her. I did my best. Some nights my best wasn't good enough. Jake regressed. Started having accidents again, even though he'd been trained for a year. The pediatrician said it was stress. Recommended a child therapist. So now my 3-year-old needed therapy, because his mother couldn't keep her vows. The first custody exchange happened at a McDonald's parking lot. Neutral ground. Patricia's suggestion. Sarah pulled in her sister's car. Got out wearing sunglasses even though it was cloudy. Trying to hide that she'd been crying, probably. Or maybe just trying to hide from me. Emma ran to her. Mommy. The hug nearly broke me. The pure joy on my daughter's face. The relief. She'd missed her mother so much. Sarah looked at me over Emma's head. Mouthed. I'm sorry. I looked away. Helped Jake with his seatbelt in her car. Handed over the diaper bag with his stuffed elephant inside. Be good for Nandi, okay buddy. He nodded, already distracted by the Happy Meal toy Sarah had brought. Then they drove away. And I sat in my car in that parking lot for 20 minutes. Watching families go in and out of McDonald's. Living their normal lives. Nobody looked at me. Nobody knew that the guy crying in the Honda Civic just handed his kids over to the woman who destroyed his world. The loneliness is what nobody warns about. I'd go to work, put on the professional mask, handle my meetings and deadlines. Then I'd come home to a house that felt like a museum. Toys, scattered, where the kids left them. Sarah's coffee mug still in the sink from that last normal morning. I couldn't bring to clean her things at first. Her shampoo in the shower. Her books on the nightstand. The jacket on the coat rack. Eventually, my mom came over and helped me pack it all. We worked in silence mostly. She cried while folding Sarah's sweaters. I stayed numb. I thought she was different. Mom said quietly. I really did. So did I. We found Ryan's hoodie in the back of our closet. Sarah's closet side, hidden behind her dresses. My mom's face went pale. Marcus, maybe we should throw it away. She did. Didn't argue. That night, she made dinner. Sat with me while I picked at the food. Told me stories about Dad's cousin who went through something similar 20 years ago. How he survived it. How he eventually found happiness again. I couldn't imagine happiness. Could barely imagine tomorrow. Work started suffering. I'd zone out during meeting. Forget deadlines. My boss called me in for a concern conversation. Marcus, we understand her going through a difficult time. Take some personal leave if needed. I couldn't afford personal leave. Lawyer fees were piling. I'd have to sell the house eventually, split everything. I needed every paycheck. I'm fine. Just need to adjust to the new schedule with the kids. He didn't look convinced but let it go. The worst was running into people who didn't know yet. Friends from couples game nights. Other parents from Emma's school. Neighbors. How's Sarah? Haven't seen her around lately. Each time, I'd have to decide how much to say. Most times, I went with, we're separated. And changed the subject fast. But word got around. Small community. People talk. I started noticing the looks at school pickup. The whispers. Emma's best friend's mom stopped making playdates. No explanation. Just suddenly too busy. Then I found out why. Sarah's version of events had spread. Poor Sarah, married to a workaholic who didn't appreciate her. Who made her feel invisible. Who forced her into the arms of someone who actually saw her. Ryan wasn't mentioned in her version. She'd found comfort with someone else. That's all anyone knew. I wanted to scream the truth. Tell everyone that she'd slept with my brother in my bed, while I was downstairs, reading to our children. Patricia advised against it again. Don't engage in the smear campaign. Don't make this a public war. The judge won't care who cheated. They care about the kids' best interests. So I stayed quiet. Let people think what they wanted. Became the bad guy in the neighborhood gossip. The isolation was crushing. 3 weeks into the separation, Ryan finally called. I was putting Jake to bed when my phone buzzed. Saw his name, my finger hovered over the decline button. Answered anyway. Don't know why. What? Marcus, please. We need to talk. No, we don't. I'm brother. I'm sorry, okay. I'm so sorry. It just happened and. It didn't just happen. It happened every day for 2 months. In my house. In my bed. While I trusted. Silence on his end. Don't get to be sorry. I continued. Sorry is for accidentally breaking someone's phone. Sorry is for forgetting a birthday. Don't get to be sorry for this. I never meant to. That made me laugh. Cold, bitter sound. What did think was going to happen? Ryan. Thought I'd find out and be okay with it. Shake hand and well. I thought. I don't know what I thought. Didn't think. That's the problem. Neither have thought about anyone but yourselves. Jake called for me from his room. Water. I have to go. Don't call me again. I hung. Blocked his number. Brought Jake his water and sat with him until he fell asleep. Later that night, I got a message from Sarah. She'd heard about the call. Ryan told me what said. We're being unfair. This isn't all our fault. Shut me out emotionally for years. I stared at that message for a long time. Then I typed back. I gave everything. Every single thing I had. And it away for cheap thrills with my brother. Don't contact me except about the kids. She didn't respond. The preliminary custody hearing was scheduled for 6 weeks out. Patricia said to document everything. Keep records of every exchange, every time I had the kids versus her. Every expense. Make it dispensable, she said. Show the court of the stable parent. I was trying. God, I was trying. But Emma asked questions I couldn't answer. Why can't we all live together again? Sometimes grown-ups can't fix things. Sweetheart. Is it because and mommy don't love each other anymore? How to answer that? I still loved Sarah. That was the problem. Loved who I thought she was, hated who she actually turned out to be. It's complicated, Em. That's what mommy says too. Of course she did. The family wedding arrived. My cousin Rachel's big day. I'd been looking forward to it back when my made sense. Now I was dreading it. Ryan was still in the wedding party. So was I. Rachel begged us both to show and be civil. Please, Marcus, it's my day. I can't have drama, can just pretend for a few hours. I went for Rachel, wore the suit, stood in the line. Avoided Ryan completely. The reception was, everyone asking where Sarah was. Why she hadn't come, offering sympathetic looks when I said we'd separated. Then Ryan found me at the bar, got in my face. Think her so perfect. So much better than me. Ryan, walk away. She was lonely, Marcus, we're never there. Always working or with the kids. When did last make her feel special? People were starting to stare. I made her feel special every day. I loved her, supported her, trusted her, while we're what? The fun escape, the exciting mistake. She loved me. No. I stepped closer, kept my voice low. She loved the thrill, the secret, the forbidden. We're convenient, that's all. His face went red. For a second, I thought he might swing. Then my dad was there. Hand on Ryan's shoulder. Son, need to leave. Now. Ryan looked at Dad. Saw the disappointment. The disgust. He left. Stumbled out to a cab. I didn't see him again after that night. Didn't want to. My relationship with my parents got complicated. They still loved Ryan. He was their son. But they couldn't forgive what he'd done. Family dinners became awkward. Mom would talk about everyone except Ryan. Dad would get quiet and distant. I'd fractured the whole family. Except I hadn't. They had. Sarah and I went to mediation. Court ordered. Supposed to work out custody before the hearing. We sat across from each other in a beige conference room. Mediator between us. She looked terrible, lost weight. Dark circles under her eyes. Part of me felt satisfied, part of me felt sad. The mediator outlined a 50-50 custody split, week on, week off. I shook my head. The kids need stability. Primary residence with me. She can have them every other weekend and one evening per week. Sarah's lawyer objected. My client is a fit parent. There's no reason. She abandoned them. The words came out harder than I intended. For 2 months, she chose motels and lies over bedtime stories. Now she wants 50-50. The mediator held a hand. Let's keep this productive. We didn't reach an agreement. Headed for the full custody hearing. Patricia said that was fine. Better, even. The judge will see her willing to cooperate. She's not. That matters. I hope she was right. The night before the hearing, I couldn't sleep. Laid in bed, staring at the ceiling again. Same position as that first awful night. Emma and Jake were asleep down the hall. Peaceful. Innocent. Tomorrow, a stranger in a robe would decide how often they got to see their mother. Would determine the shape of their childhood. All because Sarah couldn't stay faithful. I thought about the we'd planned. The future that died when I picked that phone. Thought about trust. How easy it is to break. How impossible to rebuild. Thought about my brother. How he deleted himself from my in 2 months of selfishness. Mostly, I thought about my kids. How this would shape them. How they'd approach relationships someday. Would Emma trust her future partners? Would Jake know what a healthy marriage looks like? The damage wasn't just to me. It was to them. To their foundation. To their understanding of love and commitment and family. And Sarah had done it anyway. At 2 a.m., went to the kitchen. Made coffee even though I didn't need the caffeine. My phone buzzed. Text from an unknown number. I know I'm blocked. Using a friend's phone. I just need to know I'm sorry. I'll regret this for the rest of my. Ryan. I deleted it. Made a note to tell Patricia in case it mattered for the hearing. Then I sat at the kitchen table in the dark, and wondered how I'd ended here. Wondered where the wrong turn was. If I'd missed warning signs. If I could have prevented this. But the truth was simple and brutal, I couldn't prevented them from choosing to betray me. That was on them. Their character. Their choices. I just had to live with the consequences. The coffee went cold while I sat there. Sun started to rise. Emma would be awake soon. Jake shortly after. I'd make them breakfast. Get them dressed. Drop them at my mom's for the day. Go to court. For my children. And tonight, I'd come home to a house that would never feel like home again. This was mine now. The courtroom was smaller than I expected. Sterile. Fluorescent lights that made everyone look sick. Sarah sat on the other side with her lawyer. We didn't make eye contact. Hadn't spoken directly in 3 weeks except for custody exchanges. Judge Morrison was a woman in her 60s. No, nonsense expression. She'd heard it all before. Our disaster was just another case file on her desk. Patricia presented our side first. Documented everything. My involvement with the kids. The school pickups. The doctor's appointments. The consistent bedtimes and meal routines. Then she brought the affair. Carefully. Clinically. Honor Mrs. Peterson engaged in a relationship with the petitioner's brother, for approximately 2 months. During this time, she was absent from the family home most evenings. Claiming work obligations. Mr. Peterson was the primary caregiver during this period. Sarah's lawyer objected to the relevance. Judge Morrison allowed it. The affair speaks to judgment and priorities, the judge said. Continue. Sarah took the stand. Composed. She'd practiced this. She talked about feeling neglected. About how I'd stopped making her feel seen. About the emotional distance. Made it sound like she'd been drowning and Ryan was a raft. Never mind that she'd never mentioned feeling neglected. Never asked for counseling. Never gave me a chance to fix whatever was broken. Just went straight to my brother. Her lawyer asked about her work schedule. The late nights. I was working late. Sarah said. But I made poor choices about how I spent some of that time. I'm not proud of it. Poor choices. Like it was a bad investment. Not a calculated betrayal. Then it was my turn. Patricia asked me about our marriage. About my role as a father. About the night I found out. I kept my voice steady. Factual. Didn't let the emotion show even though it was shredding me from the inside. I discovered text messages between my wife and my brother on her phone. They'd been seeing each other for 2 months. In our home. In our bed. While I was caring for our children. Sarah's lawyer examined. Tried to paint me as a jealous husband. Asked if I'd gone through her phone without permission. The phone was sitting on the couch. It wasn't locked. I saw a message that concerned me and looked. I'm glad I did. But, I'm privacy. Our marriage. Judge Morrison in. Let's stay focused on custody arrangements. The hearing lasted 3 hours. Testimony, documents, character witnesses. My mom testified. Broke down crying talking about how good I was with Emma and Jake. How Sarah had barely been present the last few months. Sarah's sister testified for her. Said Sarah was a devoted mother going through a difficult time. That everyone makes mistakes. Sleeping with husband's brother for 2 months isn't a mistake, it's a choice. Made over and over. Finally, the judge took a recess to review everything. Patricia and I sat in the hallway. She seemed optimistic. Presented well. The consistency matters. The judge sees who's been stable. 30 minutes later, we were called back in. Judge Morrison looked at both of us. I've reviewed the evidence and testimony. Here's my decision. My heart was hammering. Primary physical custody will go to Mr. Peterson. Peterson will have parenting time every other weekend, Friday evening through Sunday evening, and 1 evening per week for dinner. Sarah made a small sound. Almost a gasp. The judge continued. This arrangement can be revisited in 6 months if circumstances change. Both parents will split major decisions regarding education and health care. Mr. Peterson will maintain the family home, until it can be sold and assets divided. She looked directly at Sarah. Mrs. Peterson, I'm not punishing for the affair. I'm prioritizing stability for these children. Mr. Peterson has demonstrated consistent care and involvement. That's what matters here. Of the gavel. It was over. Sarah was crying. Her lawyer was already talking about appeals. Patricia shook my hand. Did good, Marcus. I didn't feel good. I felt hollow. I'd won custody of my kids because their mother chose to our family. That's not a win. That's just damage control. Outside the courthouse. Sarah cornered me in the parking lot. Took my kids from me. Gave them. When decided Ryan was more important. That's not fair. I love them, I'm their mother. Then should have acted like it. She was full on sobbing now. Mascara running. People were staring. I made a mistake, Marcus. One mistake. Does that erase 6 years of being a good mom? Wasn't one mistake, it was hundreds of choices. Every lie. Every night stayed late. Every time looked me in the eye and lied. Every time came home and our kids goodnight. With his smell still on by. She flinched like I'd hit her. She whispered. No, don't. Should. I got in my car and drove away, picket the kids from my mom's. Emma ran to me. Did see mommy today. Yeah, sweetheart. I saw her. She coming home. No baby. But I'll see her this weekend. She misses so much. That night, I told them about the new schedule, tried to make it sound normal. Lots of kids have 2 houses, I said. It'll be an adventure. Emma wasn't fooled. I just want us all together. I know. Me too. But that wasn't possible anymore. That family was gone. We were somebody else now. Something broken that we'd have to learn to live with. The first solo weekend without them was unbearable. Dropped them off at Sarah's sister's place Friday evening. Sarah was staying there until she found an apartment. Emma hugged me tight. Don't be lonely, Daddy. 5 years old and already worried about me. Already taking on emotional labor she shouldn't have to carry. I'll be fine, Em. Have fun with Mommy. Okay. Drove home to an empty house. Sat on the couch where I'd found those messages. Couldn't even turn on the TV. Just sat there in silence. Friends reached out, invited me to things. Bar nights, sports games. Trying to help. I went once. Sat with 3 married buddies while they complained about their wives. Small stuff. She leaves dishes in the sink. She spends too much on shoes. She nags about the yard work. I wanted to scream at them. Have no idea how good it. Have wives who come home. Who didn't destroy everything. Left early. Made an excuse about babysitter issues even though the kids weren't home. Started therapy. Court ordered for the custody arrangement, But I needed it anyway. Williams was patient. Let me rant. Let me cry. Ask the questions I couldn't ask. Do think, could ever trust someone again? No. Ever. If wife and brother can betray, anyone can. There's no safe person. That's a lonely way to live. Yeah, well, at least I won't be blindsided again. She pushed me on that. Gently. Made me see how I was building walls that would suffocate me. But I wasn't ready to tear them down. The walls felt necessary. Protective. 8 weeks after the hearing, Sarah texted me. Outside our usual custody coordination. Can we talk? Really talk. I need to understand. I didn't respond for 2 days. Finally, understand what? Why it happened. What I was feeling. I need to know it wasn't about pipe. I was entirely about me, cheated on me, with my brother. I was drowning, Marcus. I felt invisible. Ryan made me feel alive again. I stared at that message. The sheer narcissism of it. Felt invisible, so made our kids' world unstable. Felt bored, so destroyed 3 decades of my relationship with my brother. Wanted to feel alive, so killed our marriage. That's not what I'm saying. Then what are saying? Sarah. What possible explanation makes this okay? Long pause. The typing bubble appeared and disappeared 3 times. I don't know, I just need to see I'm human. I made mistakes. Right. Human. Humans are capable of terrible things. That doesn't mean there's no consequences. She didn't respond after that. Ryan tried to reach out through my dad. Asked if we could meet. Talk it through. My dad relayed the message carefully. I'm not saying should. He's asking. Tell him no. Marcus. He's brother. No, Dad. He was my brother. Now he's the man who betrayed me in the worst possible way. I don't have a brother anymore. Dad looked old suddenly. Aged by this. What he did, but I can't stop loving him. He's my son, I know. I'm not asking to pick sides. But I'm picking mine. And my side doesn't include him. Dad nodded. Didn't argue. The divorce was finalized 4 months after that courthouse hearing. Division of assets. Splitting of accounts. Legal dissolution of 6 years of marriage. We sold the house. Split it 50-50. Sarah got half of everything even though she'd burned it all down. The law doesn't care who's at fault. Just math and paperwork. I moved into a smaller place. 3-bedroom. 1 for me, 1 for Emma, 1 for Jake. Made their rooms fun, bright colors, new toys. Tried to make this place feel like home. But it wasn't home. It was the place we lived after home died. Emma started acting out at school. Fighting with other kids. Her teacher called me in. She's angry. Processing the divorce. It's normal, but we need to address it. Started her in play therapy. Watched my 5-year-old play out her feelings with dolls. The mommy doll and daddy doll lived in different houses. The little girl doll was always trying to bring them back together. Broke my heart every single session. Jake had nightmares. Woke screaming most nights. I'd hold him until he calmed down. He couldn't articulate what scared him. Just knew something was wrong in his world. Both kids in therapy, because their mom wanted excitement. Sarah got serious with Ryan. That's what I heard through the grapevine. They were together now. Officially. Making the affair a relationship. Like that made it better. Like legitimizing it somehow erased how it started. I wondered if they'd get married eventually. If my kids would have to watch their mom marry their uncle. If holidays would become a nightmare of divided loyalties. Started having panic. First one hit in the grocery store. Couldn't breathe. Vision tunneling. Some stranger had to help me to my car. Dr. Williams said it was PTSD. From the trauma. From the betrayal. Body is reacting to broken trust, she explained. It's a nervous system issue now. Added medication to the therapy. Small dose. Just enough to take the edge off. Hated needing it. Hated that Sarah's choices had broken something in my brain chemistry. Work performance improved once I adjusted to the medication. Got back on track with projects. Boss stopped looking at me with concern. But I was just going through motions. Working to pay bills. Parenting to give my kids stability. Existing because stopping wasn't an option. One Saturday, Emma asked the question I'd been dreading. Daddy, why did Mommy and Uncle Ryan? She was 6 now. Old enough to understand more than I wished she did. I sat down with her. Tried to find appropriate words. Sometimes adults make choices that other people. Mommy and Uncle Ryan made choices that me and our family. It wasn't fault or Jake's fault. It was their choice. Do still love mommy? Complicated question. I love who she used to be. I'm sad about who she became. Will ever love someone else, maybe someday, sweetheart. When my heart isn't so broken. She hugged me. I don't want heart to be broken. Me neither, baby. But it was. Shattered into pieces I wasn't sure could ever fit back together. Year 2 post-divorce was slightly easier. Routine solidified. Kids adjusted to the 2-home situation. Custody exchanges became mechanical. Businesslike. Sarah and I barely spoke beyond logistics. Picking them at 6. Emma has a field trip Tuesday. Jakey's doctor appointment is next week. Like coworkers managing a project. Not two people who'd once promised forever. I heard through mutual friends that Sarah was struggling too. That the relationship with Ryan wasn't as exciting now that it wasn't forbidden. That guilt was eating her alive. Part of me felt vindicated. Most of me just felt tired. Tried dating once. Friend sent me. Nice woman, teacher, love kids. Easy to talk to. Second date, she asked about my ex. I gave the sanitized version. She cheated. We divorced. I have primary custody. That must have been hard. It was. Air over it. Honest answer. No. Probably never will be completely. There wasn't a third date. Dr. Williams said I wasn't ready. That I needed more healing. But how to heal from something like this? The betrayal is permanent. Recorded in my history. My kids' history. Every decision from here is shaped by it. Emma asked me recently if I'm happy. I told her I'm content. That's different than happy, but it's something. Truth is, I don't know if I'll ever be happy again. Not the way I was. That version of me died when I picked that phone. This new version is more cautious. More guarded. Harder. I don't trust easily. Don't let people close. Keep everyone at arm's length except my kids. It's lonely but it's safe. And after what happened, safe feels necessary. People say time heals all wounds. Time just teaches to live with the scars. I'm living with mine. Get every day. Parenting my kids. Paying my bills. Existing. But I'm not whole. Won't ever be again. Sarah took the best parts of me and burned them. Ryan helped. Together they destroyed something that can't be rebuilt. And now I'm left here. In year 2 of my new, wondering what it would have been like, if she'd just talked to me. If she'd said she was unhappy. If she'd asked for counseling. If she'd given us a chance to fix it. But she didn't want to fix it. She wanted to escape it. And the collateral damage was me. Our kids. Our families. Everyone who loved us. My brother hasn't tried to contact me in over a year. Good. Some betrayals don't deserve forgiveness. My parents divided holidays now. Thanksgiving with me and the kids. Christmas with Ryan. Trying to keep peace. Trying to love both their sons even though one destroyed the other. I don't make it easy for them. But I'm not trying to. Last week, Jake asked when he'd see Uncle Ryan again. He doesn't remember the betrayal. He was too young. Just remembers his uncle who played trucks with him. Uncle Ryan isn't around anymore. Buddy. Why? Because he made choices that our family can't forgive him. Out of the mouths of. Some things are too big to forgive. When we're older, I'll understand. Maybe he will. Or maybe he'll think I'm bitter and unforgiving. Either way, I can't reconciliation. Can't pretend Ryan is welcome in my. He killed our brotherhood the day he touched my wife. Some deaths are permanent. This is what's left. Fractured family. Broken trust. Kids shuttling between homes. Therapy appointments. Medication. Cautious existence. This is the Sarah and Ryan created, when they decided their wants mattered more than everything else. And I'm the one living with it every single day. People ask if I'm doing okay now. If things are better. I tell them yes. It's what they want to hear. Truth is more complicated. I'm functioning. Surviving. Managing. Okay? No, the wound is closed but the damage is permanent. I'll never trust like I did. Never love without fear. Never let someone fully in. The betrayal rewired something fundamental in me. And that's the real consequence they never considered. Not just the divorce or the custody split, or the divided holidays. It's the who I was. The cautious, damaged person I became. That's what betrayal costs. My name is Marcus, I'm 36 now, single dad, divorced, brother is dead to me. I have 2 beautiful kids who deserve better than the example their mother and uncle gave them. I'm doing my best. Some days that's enough. Most days it's enough. But I keep going. Because that's what do when world falls apart. Pick the pieces that are left and keep going. Even when those pieces have sharp edges, and they every time touch them. Keep going. Because the alternative is letting them win. Letting the betrayal destroy completely. And I won't give them that, so I exist in this half, this after. This permanent consequence of their choices. And if there's a lesson here, it's this: trust is fragile. Betrayal is forever. And some people will destroy everything for a temporary feeling, leaving to clean the wreckage long after they've moved on. That's the price I'm still paying for believing she was working late.